Hey everybody, I thought I would pop on here and do a short video with some of the things I've been experiencing this month as we've been focusing on the pelvis and sacral center and movement and flow. When I offer the space in our private group and share with you with these videos, I do it partly from just sharing my experience as well as sharing some of my traditional learning with the body and anatomy and the things that we're exploring in Kai. I don't do it from this is what you should do, or this is the exact right way of doing it, or that I'm the know-it-all authority on it. I prefer to just hold a space for everyone to experience their own as I direct us into a part of the body. And then I hold the space for you all to share your experience of that. And I just listen and witness. This is a practice that we do in Kai, is witness each other, and the way Kai classes are taught are very experiential and circular in this same method that I call it of a more yin approach or feminine approach in holding space rather than directing everyone and telling them what they should do and giving charts or a more linear method of teaching. So with that said, we've been focusing on the pelvis, and I have to say it's been kind of a rough month overall, and one of the aspects of the pelvis is sexual energy, but it's also creative energy, getting movement going, and then the shadow, going into those aspects of ourself that keeps us stuck, and looking at it and figuring out what are the gifts I can learn here so I can shift my perspective into one that supports me so that I can have movement forward. So the last few days I kind of hit a wall with, I felt some depression. And it was very strange because it came along with pain in my body and with just like this heaviness of not wanting to move, not wanting to go anywhere, just needing to be still. So that's a lot of what I did was I was going to go visit a friend and his friend and going for a walk, and I just decided, nope, I need to be still and go within myself. So boundaries are another part of this part of the body, of having the capacity to contain as well as release. And this includes emotions as well, contain emotions and release emotions. It's no wonder that so many of us have locked up hips and lower backs. And underneath that, there's probably a story or an emotion that we can tap into to learn from and to let go into more movement around it. So I'm grateful that taking just one day of listening within and going into it, and then actually doing some art, some creative art, helped to open up more flow and more joy. And that brought forth more pleasure. And then today I really felt good in my body and good in my hips and connected in a way that felt powerful, but not rigid. There was like structure in my body as well as fluidity. And that was really divine in the dance today. I also wanted to share, one of the participants was saying to me, she's a graduate of the Kai Earth Immersion where we explore the elements in detail. And one of the elements that she was working with when she finished it many years ago was wood as the most difficult one for her to embody and feel within. Wood is the element that in Chinese medicine, I think it's called ether, but we call it wood, and it's a combination of all the elements. Like a tree has roots grounded, but it also has water and liquid moving within it, and it has the sun and the fire that it's reaching for, and the air element around that it's moving through chemically. So it has all of those, and it has the most structure. It appears very still, but there's a lot of life within. She was saying how the wood element for her when she was dancing in the beginning, her relationship to wood felt very stiff and uncomfortable, and there wasn't joy. And today, for the first time, she felt that within that stillness, there was so much moving within her, and grace and joy, that she had this embodiment of it that was different than any other time, and a real pleasure inside of that element. And I saw her, she had a child with her, and she's breastfeeding the child. The child was sitting by her feet, and it was giving her a chance to be present to what she was experiencing in her dance, which was one of wood and stillness. And she was so radiant inside of it that it was remarkable. I thought, oh, I just want to capture a picture of this beautiful, strong, powerful woman standing in her fullness and not moving on the outside, and yet I could feel it was like pulsations of radiance. And it was just a brilliant moment of how movement can look so different. So with that, I was going to share with you balance characteristics. This is from the book, Eastern Body, Western Mind. A balanced second chakra. That second chakra is the energy center inside the pelvic bowl. It has the capacity for sexual satisfaction, physical pleasure, a general enjoyment of life, comfort with intimacy, and the ability to accept movement and change gracefully, including graceful physical movements. There is a steadiness and a clarity in the emotional states. One can feel deeply without excessive histrionics. Histrionics would be like dramas. Balance involves the ability to nurture the self and others while still maintaining healthy sexual and emotional boundaries. Sexuality and a balanced second chakra is a healthy expression of intimacy, pleasure, joy, with sensitive boundaries and a true sense of connection. This balance, or lack of it, can occur in any and all styles of sexuality: heterosexual, transsexual, gay, straight, bisexual. The qualifications for healthy sexuality can only be decided by the persons in question. However, the general guidelines of consenting adults, mutual enhancement, integration of one's life, and stimulation of growth are a good place to start. Ultimately, sexuality should serve the enhancement of the whole body within and without. I want to say that even though we're focusing on this one part of the body for the whole month, it is supported by what's underneath. So feeling grounded is imperative. Like having a container, that we have a body that we get to experience pleasure in. First, we have to be willing and work through whatever traumas created the stiffness or the disassociation from the body. So going into like, okay, so here I am. The other day when I said I was feeling stiff and pain and that I was feeling depressed, I also had this desire to not be in my body. I really was not wanting to dance and not wanting to move. And I had to face that, soften it, show up, and then allow the truth of what is the movement that truly does feel okay, like just okay. From okay, I could move into this feels a little bit better, into this actually feels good. And it took a whole hour and a lot of presence to find a starting point to enter, a surrender of this is what it is, and to show up and be honest with myself, but still show up. And then to move into this feels good. It took a whole dance, a whole hour class. And it shifted. Just the power of that itself brought in so much gratitude of my body, that the body can lead me into a place of feeling more pleasure. So that would be root chakra, of just first saying, okay, what is happening in my body? What's the truth of it? And getting more details about it, more intimate. Then going into finding how can I feel more pleasure. Doing that in a dance with another person, a partner, and creating pleasure with another partner, whether you're having sex or you're dancing together, it's the same thing. It's the same practice of, am I being honest with myself? Can I communicate this to my partner? Can I feel the energy in detail of what's being exchanged? Who's leading? Who's following? Am I breathing? Am I present? Or am I into a place of dreaming? And can I come back into present moment? So what else do I want to say about sacred sexuality? I guess I just want to say that one of the conflicts that I've had in the past is feeling that sexuality feels good, but somehow doesn't feel spiritual, or feels like when I'm spiritual, I shouldn't feel sexual. Like they're opposites and that sex is bad. So these messages that we get can be so inground and deep inside that we don't even realize they're running us until we become aware of them. And then what do we do with that? So one practice that I've been doing is noticing when I feel shame, or when I feel like I'm being bad, when I put it as two opposites, and yet knowing that it's all good. Like when I start thinking and getting stuck into one way of thinking, and when can I open it more up, and what am I afraid of anyway? So I've been dialoguing with myself about this, and dancing helps me a lot with feeling sensual, sexual energy in my hips and in my body. And then somehow I think I affirm that that's okay through that awareness and through rhythm and through dance. So that's been a practice as well. I can say that I've also been practicing being conscious of God, or what I call God or love. Like this energy of spiritual energy is inside of me. It's not something that I need to grasp for outside of me. I don't need to pray. I can pray, and I do pray on a daily basis. However, I can look at how my body's moving as prayer. I can look at the cells of my body as being divine light inside of me, and really owning that inner divinity is something that for me has been a process of moving from really loving my body to going to even feeling that I am that light. And then allowing that to radiate out, allowing that light to shine from my body, from my bones outward, is like a deepening into love and even into spirituality as I feel it in my body as an embodied sensation of God. So that has been something that I've been working a lot with probably over the last year, and I feel like it is coming along. It has times that I feel a little stuck with it, and times that it feels like it gains momentum, and I can walk with it and show up with it, and it has a whole different feeling in my body and sensation. So sacredness, sexuality. What else did we want to talk about? The Psoas. I'm going to save that for last. Boundaries as a big part of creativity. One of the other things I am really happy about is that at the end of this month of focusing on one part of the body, one thing I want to say is I look at it and scan, okay, what has showed up this month? Like, what is new? What is unique about this month? Because it's not a surprise if we've set the intent and together have held this space, even if you've forgotten about it and just come back to it once a week. Somehow, just by being part of this group, we are on this train ride together, and things are going to show up that don't normally show up. And even how you reflect on them and pull it together in an observation or in the experiment, that itself is going to give you new knowing, new wisdom that you can then bring forward. So boundaries. I've noticed over the last couple of days, one, I got back into painting, and I've been stuck for a very long time. And when I painted, I almost cried, feeling the joy that I have from this activity and all the blocks that I put up in front of it. From I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I need to work, I need to do housework, I need to this, that, like all these things that don't bring me pleasure, I stack in front of something that I actually really enjoy, including judging myself that why do I even do it, because it's not good, I can't do it, so there's all the inner junk, and then there's the outer things I need to put boundaries around. One saying, okay, I'm going to let the house get messy and I'm going to paint. So there's outer boundaries that I put so I can be creative. I won't let that in. And then there's inner boundaries of self-worth and of, is it good enough? That also get in the way. And those, as I'm painting, I'm facing them. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm still going to just breathe and stay mindful and continue. And then all of a sudden this like little waves of enjoyment increase as a picture starts to come forward that wasn't there before. And sort of this rhythm starts to come out that feels like a flow, and it feels almost like a meditation. Like I'm so in it then that the pleasure has increased in me. But I had to work through the inner blocks of not allowing myself, of recognizing when I was thinking negatively and blocking it. So these boundaries, I also, by the way, told myself I'm not going to look at Facebook, or I'll look, but I won't post anything for today or longer, as long as I need to, till I can feel this flow of creativity coming through me. So that was another boundary I needed to make. I've noticed that the more I relate to technology, the less creative I get and the less embodied I am. So I definitely, I'm speaking totally from I need to place regular boundaries around it and value that creative juiciness wholeheartedly and be strong in my boundaries and face. So when I set up that boundary, what's the urge that I need to look on every 5 seconds or whatever to see what somebody's doing or feel a feeling that then I numb out because I don't like that feeling? It gets me disconnected from the depth of truly experiencing life and giving myself time in the real world of relating to things around me, of breathing and sensing things through my senses. So there's that. And now let me show you something about the psoas muscle. So the psoas muscle is one of the largest muscles in the body. I think it's 18 inches long. It connects from your inner thigh. I'm going to back up a little so I can show you an exercise. Actually, I think I'll move this. Sorry about my messy house again. Got some messes I got to push around. So it connects from the inner thigh through the pelvic floor and then connects into the pelvic bowl with like web-like connections. It's wide like a belt, and it comes up through and connects behind your belly button. It's also called your iliopsoas muscles, and then shortened it's the psoas. So it's a series of muscles with connections that allow you to move from the hip, right? So we use it for functioning, for walking, but it can become tight from trauma. It can become tight from using it wrong. It also gets tight from anxiety and fear. It's our knee-jerk reaction muscle, and it's old and deep. So things from way back when we were a baby and we start to feel a lot of, say, colic and bringing the knees up to your belly, like this natural reaction when we're feeling discomfort in digestion or just discomfort in life is something that can happen deep inside, even when on the outside we're working in life and everything looks all rosy and great. This muscle can have a fear response, and we can be like, what the heck is going on with my body? So it takes this awareness of what's happening. I always say use touch to connect to your body, your emotions, what's happening, acknowledge it, see if you can work with it, breathing through whatever the emotion is that's there. And I want to show you an exercise that's really good. So if you take yourself on your back and you let your hands rest on your psoas, even massaging in, it's underneath the organs of the stomach, deep inside. If you let a knee sort of move to the side and in, and then dig in, and then try it again, and dig in, you might really feel the muscle in it when it's activating and stretching. Now from here, one of the exercises you can do is first get relaxed and mindful. Let your arms, neck, shoulder relax. And you're going to take one leg and let it go out to the side and extend out through the outer ankle, the pinky toe, and then roll from the hip joint so the kneecap is up and the toes are up. I'll show you that. So the toes are up, and then you're going to drag it back in. So you're going to relax this muscle and go deep inside to drag it back in. You'll do that about, say, like 8 times. As you breathe and relax, rotating through the ball joint, flex your foot and then drag the foot back in. Pause for a moment after you've done 8 and breathe, comparing one side to the other. And then the same leg, we're going to go knee to the inside, towards your belly button, to the inner arch of your foot. Slide it out slowly, go really slow. We want to train these muscles to be relaxed. Come back up and drag it back in, and you'll do that about 8 times. Breathing, working with the awareness of what's moving, how can you move with more ease, the form, but also lots of relaxation. After you've done 8, pause and compare. So this is a wonderful way to bring more relaxation into the pelvic muscles and into the iliopsoas to free it up. It may take doing it on a regular basis to really get it to relax and open. Your voice will sound different and your breathing pattern will sound different because these muscles are connected to your nervous system. Okay, I think that's all I have for now. I'd love to hear your questions, your thoughts, what you've been experiencing this month. We're getting ready to go into fire, which is my favorite element. And it's really balancing ego and energy and digestion and lots of wonderful things. Hope you're having a great day. Bye.